Greetings, fellow Dragonstaffers. In today's video, we will be covering the Sushi Roll. Before we get started, I have to say a huge thank you to all of you supporting here on Patreon. Thank you for keeping food in my fridge and a roof over my head. I cannot thank you enough for your support. This trick is inspired by Bryan, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the last name correct, but Sekine, S-E-K-I-N-E. I hope I got that right. And I learned this trick from a tutorial that he actually made for this trick a while back for a Ninja Pyrate Holiday challenge. So I wanted to bring it back because it is an odd little variation, but I also wanted to give a little shout out and give him credit because he's the only person I believe I've seen do this trick outside of other participants in the Ninja Pyrate Holiday Challenge. And as with most of my tutorials for tricks that can be done on either side or going either direction, we're just going to be covering one side. I do always recommend drilling the opposite side once you've gotten it down on your first. And the side that we will be doing is starting with the staff rolling up the left arm, exiting with the staff rolling down the right arm. And there are going to be two prerequisites for this one. One is your standard cheating death. Two is your forearm roll. I have tutorials for those already. I'll put links in the description below. And with all of that out of the way, first I'm going to go over the trick facing the same way as you. I will quickly go over it again facing forwards, just to make sure that you can see everything. And as I mentioned, we're going to begin with the staff rolling up the left arm. So we basically come into our cheating death, however you are comfortable coming into your cheating death. So I usually have the staff rolling away from me and then flip one end of the staff so that that end is rolling up the left arm. And as you can see, I have my right hand here guiding the staff up the left arm. And just as you would in a cheating death, you would duck your head so that this end of the staff can roll up the left arm and around the shoulders. We're going to follow that exact same pathway for our sushi roll. So, cheating death, staff's rolling up the left arm, duck the head. Now as soon as this center point crosses over your neck or the back of your head, that is where we're going to switch it up and come into the sushi roll. How are we going to do that? I'm so glad that you asked. Right when the center point passes over the back of the head, if you hadn't noticed, this right hand, the guide hand, I keep it guiding the staff up all the way to the point where the staff is passing over the neck, or passing around the shoulders, I should say, because we're going to use that hand to give the staff a little push away from us to come into our sushi roll. Center point passes behind the head. Still have this right hand on this end of the staff, and I'm going to press this end of the staff up over my head from right shoulder to left. So right here. And this whole part of the trick happens very quickly, so I will be sure to give you some slow motion at some point. So when this end passes over the head, that is the only rotation that we're going to let the staff do over the head. So this one end of the staff passes over the head, and before this next end of the staff can pass over the head, I'm going to bring my right hand, back of my right hand, underneath the center point at the shoulder, kind of duck my head out of the way so that the staff can pivot at the back of the hand to roll towards me and then away from me in a forearm roll. One way to think about this trick that could be less complicated is to break it into three parts. The first being our entrance, cheating death. Second part being the pivot at the neck, just 180, not a full 360 pivot. And the third part would be the forearm roll as soon as that end of the staff passes over the head. And that's our exit. Put it all together. One thing I do want to point out is this trick can be a little more accessible if instead of letting that pivot happen at the upper back, really between the shoulder blades, because we're going to be exiting on our right side, it can be helpful to lean to the left and allow that right shoulder to kind of serve as a surface to roll, and that will also make it easier to lean your head to the left and out of the way of the staff. And as I said, I'm going to quickly go over that again facing forwards just in case you couldn't see any part of that. And we'll break it up into the 3 parts. So part 1 is your cheating depth with the staff rolling up the left arm. So I flip the staff, I have one end of the staff rolling up the left arm, I have my right hand guiding the staff so that it rolls up the left arm, duck the head. As soon as the staff comes behind the neck, behind the back of the head, that is where we're going to press this end of the staff over from our right shoulder to our left. And that is part 2, our little neck pivot there. And just a 180. We don't want 2 ends of the staff to pass over our head, just one. Part 2. And right there, as soon as we do that neck pivot, the next part comes really quickly. You'll want to bring your right hand stacked on top of your right shoulder. I find it helpful to kind of lean to the left so that our right shoulder can serve as a surface for the staff to pivot on. Of course, it would be the opposite if we were doing the opposite side, but we're just covering one side in this tutorial. So as soon as we do that little pivot, I bring the right hand, back of the hand underneath the staff as it pivots near the right shoulder or right shoulder blade. That is our 3rd part and our exit. And as soon as I bring the hand underneath the staff, it's kind of rolling towards me to the fingertips, and I flatten the fingers down so that the center point will pivot, going up the arm, pivot again at the elbow to roll away from you. All of that is covered in more detail in the forearm roll tutorial. And that's going to do it for our sushi roll. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next video.